Hello, everyone. So this is a video on the лексико-грамматический test on the test элементарного уровня, the elementary level, which is equivalent to A1. So it's a stepping stone towards getting your Turkey certification, getting the B1, B2, C1, and so forth. And the goal of this video is to go over the first few questions kind of as a pilot run to see if this format works. And I'm going to be going over the answer to each of these questions and the concept behind each of these questions. I myself am not a native Russian speaker, but I think that it is helpful to look at the language through the eyes of a non-native speaker. So let's go ahead and get started. Number one, вы умеете читать русский язык по-русски или русский? The concept here is they want you to use the adverb по-русски with verbs that denote the ability to read, write, speak, or understand. Okay, so for a few examples. Я говорю по-английски. I speak English. Я пишу по-французски. I write in French. Okay, we use adverbs here with these verbs to denote the ability to read, write, speak, or understand. Okay, so for number one, when we're talking about reading, вы умеете читать? You're going to be using по-русски. Okay, the answer would be по-русски. Number two, откуда ты был, куда ты был, и где ты был? They want you to distinguish between location and direction. Okay, location где, and the direction откуда and куда. Быть is used to describe location, not direction. In English, we say, where were you? Not to where were you, or from where were you? Right? Same concept here. Где ты был is going to be the answer. All right. And if you were to answer that question, you would say, я был в ресторане, я был в парке, так далее. You use a prepositional case because you're answering the question, где? Где ты был? Number three. Я часто смотрю передачи в телевизору, на телевизору, или по телевизору. They want you to distinguish between prepositions в, на, and по. В, на most often used to indicate location or direction, okay? По most often triggers the dative case. Not always, but most often triggers the dative case. And here it is used to indicate the means by which something is occurring. So you look at televisor, okay? Televisor. We know it's in the dative case because the nominative singular is televisor. And then you add an u at the end because it's a masculine singular noun. Televizoru, okay? And out of these prepositions, the only one that triggers the dative case would be po televizoru, okay? And then conceptually, we can expand upon this by looking at these examples, right? We can indicate the means by which something is occurring. Мы услышали новости по радио. We heard the news through the radio, okay? Radio here doesn't decline because it's a neuter loan word, okay? We have Vanya отправил посылку по почте. По почте. So Vanya sent a parcel, he sent a package through the mail. По почте. Почта becomes почте in the dative case, right? Ought to yet. So the answer here would be по. Now, I grouped these four questions together because they kind of hit upon the same concept, v versus na. And as a general rule, this isn't always the case, but you'll be right more often than not if you follow it. V is used for enclosed spaces, while na is used for open spaces. Examples, we have na rynке, rynek, so think of it like an open air market. Stadion, na stadionie. Okay, stadium is a fairly open space, so we use na. В кафе, in a cafe, right? В доме, inside a home, inside a house, right? These are enclosed spaces, and so we use v. With that in mind, let's take a look at these few questions here. 4, 5, 6, 7. Number 4. Ты часто ходишь в музей? Do you often go to the museum? Right? You would use v here because musée is an enclosed space. Number 5. Мы купили конверты на почте. Now, this is unfortunately just something you have to memorize. The post office is going to be na, okay? На почту if it's to the post office, and на почте if it's at the post office. Number 6. Антон учится на первом курсе. And this is another thing that you do have to memorize. If you were to say that you're a first-year student, you would say, я учусь на первом курсе. If you're to say you're a second-year student, я учусь на втором курсе. Okay, so it's always на каком курсе. Number 7. Моя сестра учится в школе. В школе, okay? And we use в here because, as you may imagine, schools tend to be enclosed spaces. And I think that's a little bit more logical compared to the previous two. Number 8. Анна учится, изучает на подготовительном факультете 3 месяца. Here they want you to distinguish between 3 verbs that mean to study. Okay, учить что, accusative case, is used when you are studying smaller elements of a subject, meaning учить какие-то факты, some kind of facts, small elements. Изучать что is used when talking about particular subject or field. So you can say, я изучаю политику. I study politics, right? This is a subject. Учиться где is used when talking about being a student in general, okay? And this is going to use a prepositional case, учиться где. Now, back to number 8. Анна на подготовительном факультете 3 месяца. So we know this is in the prepositional case if we look at на and then подготовительном ending for an adjective, and then факультете ending for the noun, the masculine singular noun. And so we know since we know it's in the prepositional case, we know we have to use учиться, right? Because that answers the question где. And it's also because you're talking about being a student in general. You're not talking about studying some kind of fact or studying some kind of subject. You're just talking about being a student in this faculty for 3 months. So here the answer would be учиться. Number 9. Maria da физику и математику. All right, so we know that the nominative case would be física and matematica, a to u, because it's in the accusative case, right? And so right away we can eliminate учиться, because учиться uses the prepositional case. It's either учит or изучает, but we're talking about a particular subject or field, right? And therefore we would use изучать. Maria изучает физику и математику. Number 10. Каждый вечер Жан новые слова. So we know that новые слова is going to be accusative case, plural. So there's no ending there. Since it's in the accusative case, it has to be учит or изучает, because учиться would use the prepositional. Новые слова, those are small elements of subject, whether it's грамматика, лексика, литература, right? Каждый вечер Жан учит новые слова. Because again, these are small elements of the subject. This is not a whole subject. So the answer would be учит. Number 11. Твой брат или работает. Okay, so here we don't actually see the prepositional case or the accusative case. So we can't narrow it down based on that. But we can logic our way through it from the definitions that we've put down here in the concept. You're not studying a small element of a subject. You're not even talking about a particular subject or field, right? You're talking about being a student in general. Is your brother a student? Is he studying or is he working? And so here you're going to use учится. Твой брат учится. Well, that's the end of this trial run. Let me know if this format was helpful to you or not, and I can continue doing this for the rest of the лексико-грамматический test. And if you are interested, I will leave a link to where I got this from. It's from a book called Testy, Testy, Testy. And as you might imagine, it's just a book of tests used to prepare you specifically for Terkei Ejin. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and please leave any feedback that you guys may have.